Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Dorothy Morgan, professional astrologer. We're going to talk about May 24th. We got a lot of Pisces energy, but everything is just about ready to shift into Aries. Not everything, but certainly the moon and Mars. Mars is much happier in the sign of Aries because it can just be what it is, which is aggressive, assertive, action oriented, go, go, go. There's no filtering through Pisces. That's what the Mars has been doing for quite some time now. We're also going to roll the dice when we get finished with the astrology, and we'll pull a card from this deck like we always do. Let me share my screen with you. I could show you what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So right now, and this is in the evening, East Coast US, May 24th. However, you just have to adjust for your time zone for whatever time. Everything's at 28 or 29, and everything isn't everything. I'm exaggerating. All right. Mercury is retrograde at now 28, just left 29 degrees of Taurus. Moon and Mars, 29 Pisces. And that's the last minute for the moon even. And they're also connected to Pluto at 28. It makes there's a trine aspect between these guys, and then the moon and the Mars make are at the midpoint of where Mercury and Pluto are. So there's a sextile. So you can see, so the measurements here, all of these things that I'm drawing up here, if you don't read astrology, you're going to like, well, what the heck does that mean? There is 4 planets right now at the very end of their zodiac signs that they currently reside in. And especially when the moon and Mars is at the 29th degree of the zodiac itself, because the next is the very beginning again, there is a sense of urgency. We're feeling like we're exhausted, but we're not getting anywhere. We feel like we're doing a whole lot of things and nothing's happening. Now, that can be true in a lot of instances, not every instance, but a lot of instances. Excuse me. It's not just Mercury retrograde, everybody. I just want you to realize that. Everybody, I even see anyways, it's not just Mercury retrograde. It really isn't. It is all of these things combined. Mercury retrograde in Taurus, just left Gemini in Taurus. Taurus is what we value. What is your values? We all have these different value systems. Mine's not right and yours is wrong. Yours isn't wrong and mine's right. I just said that. But it's just we all have different values and different focuses. And I get that and I understand that. And so hopefully you can too. But when we have this Mercury retrograde trining Pluto, Pluto's retrograde too, we have this larger sense of what is important to me. What information have I received in my lifetime, especially even recently over the last few weeks when Mercury was in this area? And as it's coming to make another trine aspect to Pluto, this will be the second one. It's like, what are those deeper changes? It's based around that communication. And when we have the sun and the moon conjunct at this point in the chart, you can see the date and time over here. They are really here to show us what we're missing. However, that 29th degree of Pisces isn't about that. It's just about this. It's the accumulation of everything. So we can feel very overwhelmed is really what it comes down to in a nutshell. We can feel incredibly overwhelmed because Capricorn, where Pluto is, Pisces, where these guys are, and Taurus, where this is, they're all the yin energies. So they're all feminine, all receptive. So we're receiving so much information, it's like coming out of our ears. We could just pop. And I think that's why a lot of people are feeling exhausted and overwhelmed because there's so much information. However, Jupiter is in Aries. That is motivation and movement. And it won't take long if I can animate this. 1 more minute and the moon enters Aries. So there's that. And then just a couple more hours after just this chart. Here, that's the Earth spinning. If you saw things move. Mars, moon, Jupiter, fire, movement. Mars in Aries is super happy about that. Again, it's fire energy is not put out or dissipated by all that watery Pisces. Now we can get moving. Now we have action. And this is fire trine up here to the sun in Gemini. That's air. So fire and air now. There was a big shift from the watery and the earth to now fire and air connection between these three, Mars, Moon, Jupiter, to the sun in Gemini. I get a chance to actually move and motivate. Mars in Aries, about 7 weeks. So as it moves through that sign, it's going to come through in just a few days. I believe it's just before the new moon that Mars and Jupiter will come together. We'll talk about that when it gets a little closer. Yeah, it's on the 29th. We'll talk about that when we get closer to it. But they are close now and they're applying, and that means movement. Find where 0 Aries is in your chart. I've mentioned this, many astrologers do. It's really important to know where those cardinal points are in your chart, because those are the moments and the movement and the location of action for you, whether it's easy or not. My 0 Aries is in my 12th house. So it's always internal. And when it does come out, it gets knocked down. It's internal. I'm not overly aggressive, just like my marketing. You guys went. So once in a while when I say, hey, go to my website, I teach, I do personal sessions, I do all of that. If I say that too many times, people are always like, I'm advertising too much. And it's just, I rarely do it because people just smack me down when I do. So I would ask you to do that too. Please go, not smack me down, come to my website. All right. So this can be a lot of movement, but it can be very energizing if we don't channel it right. It could feel like anger and anxiety, but don't do that. Channel it into personal projects that really help you to feel very motivated. So work on that. We're going to stop right there. More astrology in my Patreon. So please come and join me there. That's an easy, simple, inexpensive way to support the work I do. I'm looking at, is that Saturn or Jupiter? It's Jupiter. You know, with this design, if it's upside down, it almost looks like Saturn, except there's one dash that's missing. Jupiter in Gemini in the 11th house. All right, so the message, the additional message, the additional content from Spirit, if you will, or just to answer a question that may not have been answered already, because the astrology read is a general read for everybody. It is not specific to an individual, even though it might resonate with you. This additional message, Jupiter in Gemini in the 11th house, that tells you that it's time to find a group of like-minded people. Jupiter is that expansive energy in the sign of Gemini. It's not there in the sky. This is a roll of the dice. Jupiter in Gemini means we're getting a lot of information and a lot of content from 11th house places. 11th house places are groups, associations, humanitarian causes that have meaning to you. So there is something, maybe you need to go and do that. Maybe you need to join something so you feel your purpose. You feel more in alignment. Maybe you do. Maybe you need to walk away from that. Maybe you need to write a workbook or a workshop that you can engage in a group of like-minded people. Those are all different options when I see those kind of energies come up. All right. What do the cards want us to know? I've done a couple of these and I've had to just like delete them because I messed up pretty good in one place and I was like, oh, forget it. And I started over. And the one I drew earlier, just a little while ago, was Elder. Elder came up again. So there is somebody here who's needing to really step up. And yeah, I do want to share that. The Elder card came up for like the 4th time in less than a week. So with that card, besides getting in alignment with, our elders and those we respect who have more life experience than us, Doesn't matter their chronological age. Usually they are older, but doesn't have to be. Or respecting, or just taking the wisdom from your elders that have, gone before you. There is always that, but then there's always this piece of like really stepping up and being your own authority and your own elder, if you will, and taking your own wisdom and taking the lead and really speaking up where you need to speak up and take charge where you need to take charge in your own life. That's energy of that elder card too. And then the one I just drew was Thunder Drum. We've seen this a lot as well over the last few months. And that's about really getting in alignment with nature, especially your own nature. If you've ever been to a drumming circle or a powwow, you know the beating of those drums. It's like the heartbeat of Gaia, the heartbeat of the earth, the heartbeat, your heartbeat. So with the astrology that's been going on that I just explained a lot about, and we could be feeling insecure or some anxiety because we're feeling like we're missing something or we're not sure what steps to take next. It's always good to remember to get grounded. So find your place to go get grounded and remember that thump, 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 tap right here, that or just rub. But the drum has a beat and a sound to it. So do that right here if you need it. All right. Bring you back. Helps the anxiety come back more manageable if that's what you're experiencing. I think that's good for today. All right, everybody. Blessings. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, no more wise words. I will leave it there. Have a good day, everybody. Namaste.